What's up everyone, and welcome back to Deco-Crete TV. My name's Jeff, and on today's episode we're going to be showing you guys how to seal a concrete driveway, and this is going to be a step-by-step video all the way from proper cleaning to the final back roll, so stay tuned and we're going to tell you all about it. This project is going to rate as a 1 on our DIY meter, and the tools we're going to need for this project are going to be a pressure washer, a leaf blower, a sprayer for our sealer, and then a roller frame and some roller sleeves to do the final back roll. And so the sealer we're going to be using for today's project is going to be D-Shield. D-Shield is a penetrating sealer. It's not going to leave any top-coat film behind, and it needs to be able to really soak down into the pores of that concrete in order to be able to work. And so this isn't going to work really good on an interior concrete slab. If this is smooth finish concrete, that is a whole different video. Things like, the concrete just being poured recently and hasn't had a chance to cure out yet, or maybe some cure and seal that's, left on there from last spring, or maybe the concrete's just really saturated from a rainstorm. Those are all things that's gonna block this D-Shield from really getting down to the pores and doing what it needs to do. So we're gonna be showing you a really quick, easy test when we get to the job site so you can actually figure this out before you start cleaning. So now that we're out here at the job site, we can kind of take a look around and see what we're dealing with. And first of all, you can see we're at this beautiful looking house, and we've got a concrete driveway that is in really good shape, but it needs a little bit of sealer. We can see that it's been a while and there's a lot of dirt collected, and we need to get all that stuff cleaned off so we can get this sealed so it stays looking good. You can see we've already been here. We've been doing a little bit of pre-cleaning work. We got some water on the ground here that we're actually treating some leaf stains. If you guys are interested on a video on actually how to make that solution, how to apply it, how to use it, please check out our Technique of the Week video right here, and he'll take you through how to do that step by step. The other thing that we have going on is we had some rust spots on this driveway that we need to get off of there, and so we're using a product called Deco-Crete Supply Rust Remover to actually remove those rust spots, and so you can see that's kind of what's going on over on the other side there. A real simple, easy test is we just have a normal bottle of water, and we're just going to dump a little bit right on the concrete. And we're gonna kind of see what that looks like. I can instantly see that spot got really dark. It's really soaking in. You can even see on the edges there where it splashed a little bit. It's running a little bit here, but it really wanted to hold a spot and kind of draw down in. And, if I was to do that and it was blocking the pores out, it would stay up out, it would want to run. It wouldn't really get dark like that, or it might even take 5 minutes to kind of get to that point. That's my first visual that I'm looking for. We're ready to get the cleaning process started here, and I just wanted to go over our equipment a little bit because this is important that we have the actual proper equipment to do this with. And so the first thing is we're definitely going to need a pressure washer, but above and beyond that, we're going to need a pressure washer that's actually capable of doing the job. We're going to need a minimum of 3,500 PSI to actually properly wash this concrete off and do what we needed to do. Trying to use an electric pressure washer or one of those really small units, you're just not going to be getting the PSI that you need to actually blast those pores open. And there's a lot of times that we see the mistake of somebody goes out to power wash some concrete and they end up doing what we call power rinsing the concrete. And a lot of that comes from how we're actually holding this wand here. And so this is a lot of what we see when people are attempting to power wash. Is something like this right here. And that's not really power washing, that's just power rinsing. In order to power wash, we're gonna need to hold this wand straight up in the air, 90 degrees to the concrete. I'm gonna be looking to actually start out at about 12 to 16 inches away. In other words, I want this tip to be about 12 to 16 inches away from the concrete surface. So the other thing we need to focus on as we're washing this driveway is these saw cuts. This driveway's been here for a few years. Those cuts are gonna fill up with grime, and that's gonna be a problem for a couple different reasons. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna kind of throw it everywhere. And so my process is gonna be, I'm gonna wash, I'm gonna hit the saw cuts, and then I'm gonna stand back, and as I go along, I'm just gonna keep everything rinsed down and flushing all that water off of the slab. So as an alternative method of cleaning, if we just have a really small area, or getting that pressure washer just isn't gonna be feasible, one of these here 17-inch low-speed floor buffing machines will actually help us clean this off in a short amount of time. Without the pressure washer. First of all, we need to understand that this is not as optimal as the pressure washing system, and we're also going to have to actually add an additional part to this with some concrete cleaner. And this is formulated just to help you loosen up all that dirt, all that grime, and help you get it off the driveway. And so we're going to need to actually spray this on the driveway, read the directions, follow those on this bottle, and then we're gonna have to actually run over it with our buffer machine. The worst thing we could do in this case, using concrete cleaner like this, is to actually spray that on the concrete, let it soak down in, and then just let it completely dry, because now that's actually that soap suds, that slippery material is down into them pores, and that's actually gonna block our sealer, and so we need to get that flushed off right away. Now that we got everything pressure washed and pressure rinsed, everything is good and clean, and now all we need to do is just blow off all the standing water and blow off the water out of the saw cuts before we leave for the day. If I just left all this standing water on here overnight, it's a little bit later in the year, you can see the sun's already starting to go down, so I don't want to just let that sit there, because it's going to make it take longer. So I'm just going to blow all that water off the surface. I'm really going to focus on blowing out them saw cuts, because if I let that water sit down there overnight, it might not even be completely dry down there by morning. That's why I spent all the extra time when I was pressure washing really cleaning those saw cuts out, because if I hadn't done that and then I came back with my leaf blower and I got to get all that moisture out of there, I'm just going to blow mud all over the place, and I'm going to be back to firing up my pressure washer and going back to doing some more washing. And it's also important, because if I just leave all that dirt down there, don't blow that out, and that just turns to mud, moisture is just going to hang in there, and it's just not going to be dry when we get here tomorrow. So that's going to be our last step for the day, and then we're going to be done. We're going to let this dry out naturally overnight. We're going to show up in the morning and we're going to apply our sealer, and so we'll see you guys then. Just to go over a few things we're going to need here on day 2. First of all, I brought my leaf blower back to the job just because, you know, we seen last night, we blew everything out. We know our saw cuts are all blown out nice, but just in case, you never know, you know, what kind of leaves or something may have blown on here in the meantime. We're also going to need a few application tools, and so this is just an 18-inch roller. 3/8-inch nap is all we need here. This is just broomed concrete. It's not very rough, so just a standard shed-resistant 3/8 snap roller. We've also got our sealer we're going to be using here, our D-Shield, and we've got our sprayer that we're going to be using to actually spray the sealer. This is important because D-Shield can be a little bit corrosive to metal if it's left in there long term. If you guys are sealing slabs every day with D-Shield, you just want to go ahead and go to a stainless sprayer. We also want to make sure that when we're spraying with one of these chafing sprayers that we're using a 1/2 gallon per minute tip. If we go to the 1 gallon per minute, it's just going to put too much volume out, and we're going to over apply it on the slab. So with D-Shield, you know, we're going to get right about 3 to 350 square feet per gallon. And so this sprayer is a 3-gallon sprayer. So I know that if I fill that up, I should be right in that 1,000 square foot range. Now I know that this driveway is around 1,600 to 1,700 square feet. So I know that by filling this up, that should get me every bit of halfway, a little bit past. And so this is just a great way to gauge whether you're putting it on at the right rate or not. The biggest common mistake with D-Shield is gonna be over applying it. And so, you know, even if your concrete is ready for it, nothing's blocking it out of the pores, just simply putting too much of this stuff on is gonna kind of cause it to do the same thing. In other words, it can only take so much of it in. And if we give it more than it really wants, well, it's just gonna kind of sit up on top, and it's gonna dry up into a chalky residue. And you know, that's something that can get cleaned off later, but we really wanna keep that from happening from the beginning. For this part of the job, I'm gonna need a helper. So far, I've been able to do everything myself. I was able to wash everything and blow dry everything off. When it comes time to spraying and back rolling, I'm not gonna be able to keep up with it myself. So we got a special guest on the show today, Mr. Jason Geyser. So all I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna run the sprayer and spray this stuff out. I'm just trying to make the concrete look wet at this point, like as if I was spraying water on it. You guys seen in the jug, D-Shield has got a little bit of a white color to it. If I spray this stuff so much that the whole surface looks white, then I'm just putting way too much on. But what I also don't wanna do is I don't want it to look like it's got any dry spots as I go along. I want to make sure I get it completely coated wet, and then I'm going to keep moving, and then Jason's going to come through with this roller, and he's going to kind of roll it with the broom marks, and he's going to kind of pick up all that extra product and also just distribute everything out. What I don't want to do is leave any puddles or any excess behind, or it's going to get a little bit of that white chalkiness that we talked about earlier. So at this point, we stopped sealing right at this saw cut, just so we can show you guys the difference between the sealed concrete and that hasn't been sealed yet. And the side that was unsealed, you can see how fast it soaks in, and it gets really, really dark. That's just because all that water that we're spraying on there is not soaking in where the D-Shield was at. So this is just a good shot that you guys can see the big difference between sealed and unsealed concrete. That's pretty much it. You can see we got our concrete all sealed up. We got everything finished, and this driveway is now protected and ready to go. So the last thing that I need to do before we finish up today is I'm just gonna run some water through this sprayer just to clean all that D-Shield out of there. You know, that stuff can kind of gum up inside of there if I don't clean that out. So guys, if you have any questions about this stuff, please leave them in the comments below this video. All these products are all linked down in the description of this video. You can also check out our website, deco-cretesupply.com. If you guys found this video helpful and you wanna see more like it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.